Hey, what's up? This is 36 Drew coming to you, N3O Clan representing. This is a 1v1 FPVOD, first-person video on demand, played on Robot Entertainment patch. This VOD is dedicated to all the folks out there at Age Community. I know that group of players is very big on the RE patch, and that they host endless amounts of games on there, and I'm sure that they will continue to do so until the server closes down in who knows how many years. Anyway, this is a quick search game played, of course, on RE patch. I will be playing from the perspective of Ottoman. I will be playing against Shrams, S-H-R-M-A-S, I believe it is spelt, and he will be playing as Iroquois. Of course, one of the options you can use is to not select the War Chief civilizations, which on this patch is used quite a bit in my eyes, simply because the War Chiefs civilizations, Sioux, Iroquois, and Aztec, can be quite lame. Sioux would be the least lame out of the three of them, but certainly Iro are the strongest civ on this patch, along with India. There's just so many things that they can exploit, like 200 wood trading posts. You can get them on every single map. You're able to, of course, have your early travaux, which is useful for scouting. Your explorer is really quite a beefy guy with 500 HP, ranged attack, and of course his eagle eye shot. All of those things contribute to Iroquois' strong presence in this patch. If we take it a step further too, they really have quite a number of infantry cards. Anyway, so my plan in this game is to go for Yan Abbas to start with, and then add cavalry later in the game if necessary. I'm going to choose not to build a trading post here. Sometimes I chop the extra 50 wood and build the trading post. However, lately I've been playing around with building the market instead and getting hunting dogs just to age up a little bit earlier. However, in this case it doesn't really provide me a huge benefit simply because I'm aging earlier, but I don't have a shipment ready once I age up. My deck is pretty standard. The only thing that I have in my deck that maybe most Ottoman players don't have in their deck is the unique church card. I really like in Age 3 to be able to pop out 15 Janissaries for 1,000 wood if I feel the need to. I don't play it a ton of the time, however, it's just kind of one of my trademark moves, I suppose you'd say. And sometimes if I get ahead, I like to go Age 3 and pop out 3 bombards for 1,500 food, which is more fun than it is practical. However, this game I'm really not planning on going for a strategy of that nature, simply because I do want to win. Shrams is a brigadier. I was sitting at that rank for a little while, but lately I've been playing quite inconsistently, and also I've been fairly distracted when I've been playing with things like my dog. Gotta love it when a dog causes you to lose a game. At any rate, the game will go on. I don't have a ton of scouting information here because I kind of get distracted by some early treasures. I grab an early food treasure, I send a villager to pick up a coin treasure and start to bring in a second hunt. That shouldn't be particularly surprising. That's pretty standard gameplay. On this map, I'm really lucky that this game doesn't last too long, because I am going to simply run out of hunts. And at this point in the game, I know that, of course, he's gone for the early trading post. I'd be very surprised if he did otherwise, especially with them costing 200 wood, and I know that by looking in the top right corner of the screen. There, I pick up a real nice 150 food treasure. That's also going to help me age early. I'm going to age at like 330, which is even quicker than the Euro fast age up. However, I'm not really able to use it to much advantage. Early control groups, explorers control 1. I have a villager set to control 2 who's bringing in my second hunt, and control 6 is my town center, which of course I don't end up using too often as Ottoman because their villagers automatically train. I also thought that I'd do an Ottoman VOD simply based on the fact that I've released many other VODs with a variety of civs and not as many with Ottoman. In fact, in my current VOD age, where I'm a little bit more skilled as a player and a little bit more understanding as a commentator and an observer, I don't know that I've really ever released an Ottoman VOD. I had one from Vanilla a ways back, and I had one on Hisponia a really long time ago, just as a clan one. Although I guess I did have one versus Sporting Lisbon on Northwest Territories, a very entertaining Otto versus German game. Northwest Territories, you'll hear me rant and rave about it all the time. Just a very good map in my eyes. A lot of people don't really like how you can wall up, or how you can do things like put monitors in the river and basically contain a player. And one of the things about the map, I personally don't really have a problem with either of those things, because either player has those options available to them. The thing I have a problem with on the map is the treasures. They're just so rich. So if you're from a civ like Spain and you start with a war dog, or China and you start with a disciple, or any of the war chief civs who are able to convert, you're going to be able to gather a huge amount of treasure, whereas if you start as an Ottoman player, first things first, you're not gathering treasure because there's a good chance you're going for a trading post, and second thing second, you don't have another guy to boost you up to help you gather those treasures. So that's just, you know, something that should be taken into consideration for that map. At any rate, we are now in Age 2, and of course I'm going to throw down a barracks right away. I gathered an extra 100 wood during the transition. This is so I can build 3 houses after aging. I'm going to go heavy on yans. I've got about 4 or 5 vills on gold, and the rest on food. Also, next card after 5 yans is going to be 700 wood. This is going to give me wood to get up a couple houses, church, and of course the almighty artillery foundation. Abyss in this patch are really nice because these are still quite exploitable. And there, got some nice scouting going on. I was looking for the second hunt and hoping to also scout his forward war hut. Didn't manage to slow it down too much. It's always nice if you can get an Iroquois or war hut. However, you can't really count on that happening. And even if you do, their Civ has such a strong advantage on this patch that you can't get too confident with it. My second hunt is right beside his war hut, and I'm thinking or my third hunt rather, and I'm thinking, I better go start bringing that in. And when I go to shoot it, lo and behold, I shoot it and it herds directly towards his war hut. So yeah, you know what, you can thank me for that one, shrams. You wouldn't have had that kicking around. There you go. Very bad misclick on my behalf. And there you have the 5 yans that are trained, and I have 5 yans about to pop out, and another 5 yans in queue. So of course you see how heavy I'm going on the Janissaries. And there, see 4 Canyas pop out very early in the game. Not surprising, that's typical first card for an Iroquois player. I'm going to try to shoot the treasure to try to avoid losing the XP. The one nice thing is he's divided up his army because his Canyas are chasing my Explorer. He's obviously big button tomahawked at the same time, and I would expect that he'll train a batch of hyenas to go along with that. That's pretty much standard Iroquois play. One of the things is, his Explorer there is going to really attempt to lame and succeed in using his eagle eye shot. Really going to hurt my units a lot. Nice to get one of those early cav down. That 4 Canya shipment is so crucial, and if there's one thing that's even more crucial than that in this matchup, it is for me to save my vills. When you are an Ottoman player, keeping your vills alive is the most important thing. Your army's almost always going to be substantially, like the units are really competitive. They can do well against, a lot of civs and a lot of matchups. And here, you notice I put a couple of Yannis in melee mode to deal with the cav. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep the other ones at a ranged attack. Of course, Yannis do fairly decent in this patch against cavalry. They do much better in the fan patch, which really they should. But, you also have to keep in mind that in this patch, Abyss are really much stronger. So it's all about balancing out the Civ and removing things like lamage. Nonetheless, of course, as I was mentioning earlier, since there's so many players that do play on this patch, and I know that a lot of people at Age Community would appreciate seeing some VODs from this patch, I figured, what the hey, why not? Also, at times, getting a game on the fan patch can take a little bit longer than I would like. And here I'm going to push back, and you notice that I called Minutemen. I'm going to throw just some of these forward units into melee mode to try and get his Aina in the can, so to speak. And the next card is going to be 3 Hussars. In doing so, I'm hoping that I can really cause him to be in a tricky situation for micro. I don't quite have the full-on confidence to commit to that battle. If I had about 3 Hussar shipment coming just a little bit sooner, I may have decided to commit to it, because he didn't really have much in the way of tomahawks in that army mix of his. And there I send 1 Janissary back so he can attack him and not slow down my entire group. Meanwhile, that villager that was hanging out forward to try and bring in that 3rd hunt, he's just not in a very safe location, and I don't need any wood gathering at this point, so I'm not going to bother. Meanwhile, just going to continue to mass Yan Abyss, and I'm going to send around my Hussars to raid. I really don't know as much about the map as I should, and I guess that's one of the downfalls of Ottoman. If you're treasure gathering or you are building a trading post, you're going to lose a lot of early scouting information. It's not like France or Dutch where you're basically going to have the entire map scouted out regardless. You're going to know where every single mine is, you're going to know where every single hunt is. And, that stands for a lot of other civs who start with 2 units, Spain, China, or civs where you can convert treasure guardians into, your allied units. Anyway, going to go revive my Explorer there, pick up that little XP treasure. This is going to prove to be one of the more important things in the game. At one point, I'm going to have him commit his whole army back to sort of chase around my cav while I go and siege his forward war hut. And that's going to slow down his military production quite substantially. Meanwhile, I've been quick enough on the ball to get those Abyss out that it's going to scare him away, because 3 Abyss is going to one-hit kill the hyenas there. You're not going to one-hit kill the Tom. I believe you need 4 Abyss for that. However, once they start showing up and they can start being lamed with attack move and hitting and running, it really is a nice situation for me to be in. Next card is 700 coin to get a nice spam going on. Since my Explorer has been revived, I'm going to try to have him do some of the scouting that I wanted him to do earlier. Of course, if we look at the map right now, you would realize how I'm not in a very good situation for hunts. Hunt balance is one thing that I've always kind of been disappointed with in this patch and in all of the patches in general. I don't know all the ins and outs about the mechanical and technical side of how it has to be done from their end, but it never has been particularly fair. And in my eyes, and I've said this once and I'll say it again, hunts should not be random. I repeat, hunts should not be random. So if you're working for RE right now and you're designing AOE4, wink wink nudge nudge, gonna send a plumber to do some work in your building and take a look at your whiteboards and find out for sure. I would really like for hunts to not be random, and I don't think I'm the only member of the community for that. If you look at a game like StarCraft that's so successful in terms of balance, the resources do not appear randomly, and basically each half of the map is a mirror of the other, so you can't really complain about map balance in that sense. And there is where my cav has been chased, and it allows me enough time to bring my army forward and to get that warhead. Even though his mass there is probably greater than mine, I'm just going to continue to try and hit and run, pick off some of those units. Of course, the hyena have a little bit of a setup animation that I'm going to be able to exploit and take advantage of. Meanwhile, I'm going to have some cav run around the back door and see what they can do there. It'll be interesting to see whatever this new project, Robot Entertainment, is working on. I keep checking their website, reading blogs and whatnot, and checking their little tab where it says, what they're working on. It just says that they're working on games. So, well, yeah, that's not surprising. You're a gaming studio and you're working on games. Nonetheless, it'll be nice when we have an official announcement about whatever it is that they are working on. Hopefully it's an RTS game. That's my favorite genre of games, and I really feel it's going to make a strong comeback. I know that FPS games have been really, really popular lately. However, I just kind of think that genre is starting to slow down and starting to die a little bit. It's just time that we have some good RTS, and with StarCraft 2 coming out, it's going to be some big competition, so it'll be interesting to see how it compares if there is an AOE4, which I'm sure they will release one. Who knows if it's the next game, to StarCraft 2. It's funny, a lot of people kept saying that AOE3 was not all that successful, and it's like, well, yeah, actually, you know what, it was an incredibly successful game. Maybe if you measured it compared to StarCraft, and the Koreans and everything else, yeah, well, it's not going to seem successful. But if you measure it according to any other ruler of success, hugely successful. So it would make nothing but complete sense for that game to be developed and that game to be produced. And here, starting to push back, siege a house, and of course the warhead had just gone down. Gonna take out the TP next, slow down those shipments. I don't have any information about where a next war hut may be going up, or if he is gonna indeed make one. He has a fire pit, and again, I have to sort of just continue to back off and continue to hit and run as best as I can with these Abyss. My control groups right now are Control 1 for my heavy infantry plus Minutemen. There's only just a couple left around. Control 2 for my Abyss, and Control 3 for my Hussars. And that's what allows me to get my backdoor raids so quickly in the middle of a fight, and to not really lose seconds with microing my big army. And then there he's got his Kanya mixed in too. If he had a bigger mass of Kanya, this would have been really problematic, because I wouldn't have been able to do much to address the anti-cav issue that Ottoman can sometimes run into. However, things are going to go pretty well, and I'm going to continue to manage my raids in the back, and I'm also going to continue to push forward here and really just outplay him and have a better mass and so forth at this point in the game. Next card is another coin shipment. Doesn't really matter at this point. I've got a pretty big score advantage. I'm in triple digits. He's in double digits. Of course, anytime I see Cav go up, I'm going to just automatically pop those Yannies into melee mode, and that's GG. And he's asking for a re, and I really would have loved to, but unfortunately I did have to go to work, so I'll have to play him again sometime soon. Looking at the map, of course, you can see it's a good thing the game ended when it did. My hunts were about to expire. However, I did have the complete military advantage at that point. Wouldn't have really been anything he could do. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank everybody who plays AOE, TWC, or TAD. I'd I'd like you to keep the game alive, keep on playing as much as you can, keep on playing regardless of whether you play Robot Entertainment or Fan Patch, and keep on enjoying everything that you need to enjoy in life. Peace out, everyone.